everyone, this is Crypto Maximalist. Welcome back to another video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and get involved if you like the content. So just taking a quick look at coin market cap here, you can see, over the past few days, we have had that decent run up for Bitcoin, a little bit of retracement right now, just trying to figure out where we're at. Probably after, a fairly decent surge like that, you will see a little bit of retracement. You can see Ethereum here up almost 20% over the past few days, which is good to see. Back over $1,500, which is pretty interesting. The video today is probably going to be predominantly focused around Ethereum and all the bullish things we've been seeing for it. Also about potentially how much Ethereum you would need to be a millionaire in the next, 3, 4, 5 years, depending on some of the price targets that we have been hearing about. But you can see here just a little bit of retracement overall in the market today. We've had quite a few altcoins running up in the past 24 hours in a nice way there. You can obviously see Terra Classic has been having another little run up over, 20% on the week, which is pretty interesting. Clayton, an interesting one, which is over 100% in the past 7 days, which is that's a very interesting amount. Obviously, I think this thing absolutely plummeted in value. It appeared pretty much on the market out of nowhere, didn't it? Had a massive sell-off. Look at this chart. This is absolutely ridiculous. It was up at around, what is this? $4.25. Now we're down at 25 cents. So, that's a good 20x to get back to that all-time high, isn't it? If it ever did get back there. But I personally don't know that much about Clayton, so I can't comment on the efficacy of whether or not it will be heading back up to the upside anywhere near that in any big way. But from the looks of this, it is seeing a little bit of a renaissance right now, with the overall crypto market having a bit of positive sentiment and a bit of a move to the upside. Obviously, Cosmos, Theta, Avalanche, these are all, in our opinion, fantastic projects, all up, well over 15% here, having a little bit of a renaissance, as we said, off the bottom that we have been seeing recently. Obviously, Avalanche was up well over $100, towards that $150 mark. So if you do believe in Avalanche for the long term, heading back towards that all-time high and beyond, then this is probably an easy 10x, maybe a 20x over the next, we would say, 4 or 5 years, depending on how well these Ethereum competitors and alternatives do end up doing. You can see here a lot of cryptocurrencies obviously having a pretty decent day. So, EOS, etc., etc. There's quite a lot of stable coins here having a decent amount of volume, being quite near the top of the chart. But overall, we would say, things looking pretty good for the most part for quite a lot of altcoins. On the 7-day, obviously, you can see a lot more cryptocurrencies having a bit of a pump, and then a retracement today. ApeCoin, Chiliz, Mina, Cardano, Polygon. You can see here all having decent moves, and now just a bit of retracement, finding support potentially for another leg up. So overall, the market's looking pretty positive over the past 7 days. Bitcoin having a little bit of a rally and dragging some of the, the cryptos in the market up with it. So basically, we're just having a bit of Ethereum focused video today. You can see here Google introduces cloud-based blockchain node services for Ethereum. The move highlights the growing attention that technology giants are paying to blockchain, crypto, and Web3 projects. Obviously, we do want to see cryptocurrency coming into the mainstream, and these ties with big companies like this are only going to bring Ethereum and other cryptocurrencies to the forefront. We know Ethereum is probably favored by quite a lot of these tech giants, and we all know that Ethereum's got a massive potential network effect as well. And in our opinion, Ethereum is probably going to be doing very well. I'm just checking my recording software right now. I'm just making sure I'm actually recording. You can see here, tech giant Google said Thursday it will be launching a cloud-based node engine for Ethereum projects. The company said its Google Cloud blockchain node engine will be fully manageable node hosting service that can minimize the need for node operations, meaning that Google will be responsible for monitoring node activity and restarting them during outages. A node is a type of computer that runs on blockchain software to validate and store the history of transactions on a blockchain's network. At the time of launch, Google will be supporting Ethereum-only nodes. But we're thinking this is probably going to continue to expand as time goes on. Obviously, there's always the payoff and the conundrum when you see things like this with the mainstream. Obviously, this does have, elements of centralization to it, which is one of those core tenets of cryptocurrency, which makes it so powerful and so democratic. Obviously, being outside of traditional finance systems is one of the main appeals of cryptocurrency to many people. And things like this do, they do potentially scream a little bit of centralization, with Google potentially running, a good amount of nodes, etc. in this kind of way, or at least on their services. There will be nodes operating on their services. It's pretty interesting. to see these kinds of integrations though, and in our opinion, as we've always said, we do think these kind of moves into the mainstream can only benefit crypto in the long term, especially ones, you know, as big as Ethereum. The network effect for Ethereum is absolutely massive at the minute. A huge amount of projects based on Ethereum. They have a huge market share in terms of projects on their platform, so be interesting to see how these kinds of things develop, but we do think this is, you know, very bullish news for Ethereum. We've got more just general crypto news here. Hong Kong legalizes Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano payments to become blockchain hub of the world. We see here that sources have specified that authorities will allow the trading of popular coins such as Ethereum and Bitcoin. This is obviously more mainstream adoption and, you know, legitimacy being added to cryptocurrency as time goes on. We do think this will be very positive going into the future. We can see here Ethereum price rises to $1,500 as CFTC chairman declares Bitcoin and Ethereum as commodities. So basically more recognition in the mainstream space here. Ethereum and Bitcoin are not securities. Obviously regulation at the minute is a big thing for cryptocurrencies as they come more and more into the mainstream. We've all seen how the Ripple case has been going with the SEC. Basically the SEC accusing XRP of being a security and being sold as a, you know, unregistered security, which would be terrible for Ripple if that was the case. But we can see here the CFTC commission has basically come out and declared that both Bitcoin and Ethereum are commodities and not securities, which gives it a big step forward in regards to regulation. And if we get regulation, we will get huge investment from, you know, big financial institutions, banks, etc. Bringing it into the mainstream, there's going to be a huge amount of money that's currently not able to get in due to these legitimacy issues, which will probably get into the market. Very interesting to see. So more bullish news for Bitcoin and Ethereum. Ethereum being the focus of the video, obviously. If we take a look here, if I can get my words out, another very interesting article. Ethereum, a number of new smart contracts surges to the highest in 2022, but as you can see, the rate of smart contract and dApp development on Ethereum dropped in the last few months, obviously because of the bear market conditions as we've seen here. But we can see that, you know, apps are basically starting to re-emerge as people are getting more and more optimistic about, you know, basically the bottom essentially being in for the market potentially, or at least we're nearing the bottom now. And once the bull market gets back underway, obviously there will be a lot more people coming back into the space with interest in making money. And if that's the case, obviously people are starting to build new projects at a higher rate now to essentially, you know, capitalize on more people coming back into the market as interest starts to increase again. That's basically what the article's saying here. Developers are aware that their dApps are less likely to get traction during a bear market. Given these observations, the latest spike in Ethereum smart contracts indicates that developers are becoming more optimistic, which is very interesting considering that things have been so bearish basically over the last year or so. I think it's been almost a year since the Bitcoin high, so we have been in a bear market pretty much since then. But looking like we are, you know, starting to see some very strong lows being put in, a lot of consolidation and, you know, potentially a little bit of upward movement for Bitcoin and Ethereum over the past few weeks. And over the past few months, we've seen, you know, them basically just chopping sideways, which is pretty interesting. But we do think, you know, if we do start to see things getting more bullish over the next few months, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And we are optimistic that over the next few years, Ethereum is probably going to be an exceptionally bullish and very nice little trade in our opinion. And I mean, as you can see from these articles, it does seem as though a lot of people are getting optimistic again about Ethereum, especially with a nice little uptick in the market. You can see from this this image here that we've basically had a very nice little, potentially, you know, a bit of an upswing for Ethereum. Obviously, we saw it drop down to around that $1,000 mark. We put in a low, we come back up, we've come down, we've consolidated here nicely on that previous swing high. Resistance flipped to support, and now looking like we are getting a nice little upturn in the market here, which is good to see. You know, we're up around 20% over the past few days, which was really cool to see as well. Obviously, if we come out and we take out some of these swing highs here around that 2K level and start to see ourselves moving up, we would probably be back in bull market territory, which would be very interesting. But overall, these kinds of statistics are very bullish for Ethereum, aren't they? We'd say here as well, Ethereum is in a bull market and new highs will follow, according to some strategists. So more, you know, potential interest saying that essentially we are going to see a bit more move to the upside. This is obviously quite an old article, but in our opinion, we're probably going to see back tests and continuations in terms of technicals, so very interesting as well. You can see here as well, Ethereum dominance in the crypto market is up 20% after the merge. More bullish news about Ethereum. We do think this is going to continue to do well. Ethereum's market share is also increasing, and it's looking, like it's going to be a serious player in the next 5 or 10 years. A lot of, there are a lot of alternatives that have been coming in to try and potentially uproot Ethereum, but we do think, with its new upgrades, it's probably going to, start to claw back quite a lot of that reputation, you would say, as being truly that number 2 cryptocurrency, maybe even that number 1 cryptocurrency, depending on, how that network effect really plays out over the next few years. This is one of the most interesting things we think. The mysterious long dormant Ethereum whales are moving millions of ETH as the price surges. So we can see Ethereum is actually getting moved around for the first time in 6 or 7 years here. A massive amount of Ethereum as well. An Ethereum whale wallet that has not been active in 6+ years woke up today and moved $22 million worth of ETH to an empty wallet. ETH's price is up over 8.1% since this transaction, briefly jumping over $1,500 for the first time since the merge 6 weeks ago. So you can see here, obviously, people getting very excited. Ethereum is moving around, things are happening. And it is pretty clear to us that Ethereum, the fact that whales are starting to, move their Ethereum around is a very interesting thing indeed. We've seen people adding a lot of Ethereum as well. Large Ethereum whales are adding a whopping 3.5 million Ethereum. ETH billionaires whales hit a new all-time high. ETH price at the time of writing $1,300, which should say this was a few days ago. The market cap is up over 1%. You can see here whale investors in Ethereum have continued to accumulate the second largest cryptocurrency in terms of market cap. According to sentiment, Ethereum whale addresses that hold at least 1 million ETH have added 3.5 million coins since September. So you can see these whales are accumulating Ethereum at these prices. This is very bullish in our opinion. These people clearly have diamond hands to be holding on to Ethereum for this long, especially after it went to around $5,000 and they basically continued to hold. Very interesting, and they are now accumulating more and more Ethereum at these prices. These people have literally millions and hundreds of millions and billions of dollars at this point, most likely. And it's pretty interesting to see that they are accumulating more Ethereum, looking for an uptick in the market most likely, or holding it for the long term. This is interesting that these whales and potentially smart money that goes along with that sentiment, they are also accumulating Ethereum at these price points, which is very interesting. You can see here Ethereum whales add $4.5 billion worth of ETH since September. So this is basically the same as this. 3.5 million tokens, or $4.5 billion worth of Ethereum. Very interesting indeed. The fact that there is so much accumulation by these big whales is very interesting. We do think this is exceptionally bullish for Ethereum in general. And it's probably, as we said, due to potentially have a bit of an uptick in the market over the next few years. We do think the entry point on Ethereum is probably very nice right now, considering that the all-time high is around $5,000. We do think Ethereum probably most likely in the long term, 5 or 10 years, it could easily be well over 10K in our opinion, probably closer to $20,000, which would mean if essentially you were thinking of becoming an Ethereum millionaire, we would say, realistically, if Ethereum is, up at around $10,000 like this, then you would essentially need 100 Ethereum to be a millionaire, which at the current price point is, $150,000, which is quite a stretch, isn't it? Let's be honest, to get 100 Ethereum. But we do think realistically, Ethereum in the long term, most likely in our opinion, is probably going to go $20,000 plus, like 10 years out, we would say. So if you've got patience for this, $20,000 here, you'd essentially only have to have, is it 66 Ethereum? It's only going to be 50 Ethereum if it's around $20,000, isn't it? 20,000 times 50 is $1 million. So essentially you would need 50 Ethereum at the current price. 50 Ethereum at the current price is, if I can actually use this calculator correctly. Where's the clear button? This isn't actually a true clear, is it? 50 times 1,500. Oh, I just did a plus. I'm really messing this up in a chronic way, aren't I? That's because I'm used to it being a clear button, but it's not a clear button. It's a backspace button, essentially. 50 times 1,500 is $75,000. So if you could get anywhere close to this number and Ethereum goes up towards that $20,000 mark, you're definitely going to be, you know, having a very, very nice time. Essentially, yeah, getting up to $1 million or so. We think, you know, this is going to take a long time. It's going to be a massive process, isn't it? But we do think, you know, accumulating Ethereum for the long term, it's like Bitcoin and Ethereum, those two major cryptocurrencies, in our opinion. They're probably going to do exceptionally well in the long term, in our opinion, as well. We don't want to say too big to fail because, as we know, you're never too big to fail in the cryptocurrency space. Terra Luna would be an absolute prime example of this. But we do think that these are very, very exceptional cryptocurrencies for the long term, and they are probably going to do, you know, like 10, 20, 30, maybe even 40x in the case of Ethereum over the next few years, depending on, you know, how things go in the cryptocurrency space in general. But we do think if you want to be an Ethereum millionaire, that you are going to have to accumulate a fair amount of Ethereum. This isn't going to be, you know, like you buy one Ethereum and you become a millionaire. One Ethereum goes to $1 million. Probably, you know, this is extremely, extremely unlikely because of the, you know, the restrictions of the market cap. But, you know, if Ethereum's going well over $1 trillion in market cap, which in our opinion is entirely possible, we could see 10, 20, maybe even $30,000 per coin in the long term. If that was the case, if you had, you know, even 10 Ethereum, you would be getting up into some very, very nice price brackets in terms of wealth. And the entry point right now, with such a depreciated value, you know, it's a 3x back to the all-time high. Probably a fairly decent crypto to invest in if you're thinking of investing in a safer asset. A lot of people are currently accumulating Ethereum, and we do think that most likely it is going to do well in the long term. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you everyone for watching. Make sure to check out the links in the description below to support the channel. Grab yourself some free money bonuses, and we'll see you in the next video.